Hello everyone, it's Al Nigrin, Executive Director and Curator of the New Jersey Film Festival, here today to do a filmmaker interview with two great filmmakers who are going to be world premiering their film at our Fall 2018 New Jersey Film Festival at Rutgers University. We've got 22 films that are in competition for the New Jersey Film Festival. They're up for Best Feature, Best Short, Best Documentary films, and we'll be screening those from September 14th through October 7th. There'll be other programs after that that are free, open to the public as well, and I'll give you more information about that at the end of this interview. But today, we have the executive producers as well as the director of the film, The Luring, which is getting its world premiere at our festival on September 15th at Rutgers University. Welcome. We've got Christopher Wells and Brian Berg. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
So, guys, I watched this film a couple of times. And the first time I was a little bit not really sure if I was watching a horror film or a psychological drama. The second time I was convinced I was watching a horror film. Do you guys agree?
Yeah, I think that it's one of those films that you're going to pick up on things the second time you see it.
Yeah, and there's no question it's a multiple viewing film for sure. So tell me, what is the background on how you guys got involved with this film?
Well, I can tell you how I got involved, which is kind of interesting. So Chris and I both enjoy playing football and deny our true ages. So through playing football, we met one another. I had, about 10 years ago now, I worked on a micro-budget feature-length film. And Chris had heard about that. I had heard about a script that Chris was working on, and we went out for drinks one day. And here we are today after producing a hell of a movie.
So the film, Chris, is based on your script?
Yeah. Basically, my mom, we had a vacation house up in Vermont. She could no longer afford it. So she told me that she had to put it up for sale, and I asked her if I can shoot a film there. And we just got the ball rolling, and Brian and I just were able to raise the money, and my mom saw that we were able to do this, so she told the buyers of the house, you can buy the house, but you can only purchase it after May 15th or whatever. So the day that I was, the last day of directing, the very next day I was scrubbing the floor to make sure that the walkthrough, the people were happy. So I didn't want to upset my mom, or make her regret that.
But you were very familiar with the house too. You get the sense that the film really explores the nooks and crannies of this space because you were very familiar with it, and I think that shows. But I never really thought of Vermont as a kind of space for a horror film.
Yeah.
But yet, there's so many connections to other movies. I mean, I saw The Shining was obviously one of your influences, and that there's a young man who's suffering from an ailment, and that kind of comes back to haunt him.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us a little bit more about the film?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a psychological thriller about
or horror film, depending on which
horror film, yeah. About a man named Garrett who has dissociative amnesia. So he's trying to recover these memories by going back to his family's vacation house, which happens to be in Vermont.
Right.
And at that house, at his 10th birthday, there was a unspeakable act that happened. And it was fun writing. I wrote the film knowing what my space was, what my limitations were. Obviously, we had limitations with the budget, but I thought that enabled us to jump out of the box that we had to build for ourselves.
Your film is creepy. I mean, it does a lot with very little, and it doesn't look like it's a small budget film.
That's a big thing that
Brian. If I could jump in, sure. So one of the things that we really worked hard for is, and first of all, I will say is, yes, by Hollywood standards, it's not a DC or Marvel film, so we don't have hundreds of millions of dollars behind it. But we actually raised exactly what we were looking for. Yeah. But Chris and I worked very hard. I mean, when Chris was writing the script, and then as we were going through it and how we're going to shoot it and whatever tweaks we're making to it, we wanted to actually say, well, this is the budget that we want. We never want anyone to say, you made this for only X amount of money. We would want it to be that whenever anyone goes to see the film, that if it was made by Warner Brothers or Disney or whomever, that you would believe that it's not made to look like a low-budget film, and we believe that it did not in any way. Yeah. And I also just wanted to address one thing that you said, which is as far as Vermont, lending itself towards a horror film or something that's creepy. I actually think that it lends itself perfectly to that.
Yeah.
Vermont is beautiful. I'm not saying
Yeah.
anything negative about
Yeah,
Vermont,
yeah.
but I think back to the original Night of the Living Dead, which I believe was shot in Pennsylvania, in
That's
these
right.
open fields.
That's right.
And that to me actually has a much scarier presence than if you do something in the middle of a metropolis, because that emptiness and that
Yeah.
lonely feeling,
Yeah.
that lends itself to horror, and I think that's what we work
Because
with a
it's
lot.
so real too, and then it could be anybody could be faced with the desolation. I mean, it's an empty space,
Yeah.
and you're all by yourself running out in the middle of the night.
And that's exactly right. If you run out and there's 1,000 people around you,
That's very
it's probably
true.
not as scary as if you run out and you're like, there's no one here to help me.
Very true. Very true. Well, I liked also the two leads that play in the film. Tell us a little bit more about them.
Oh, they were great. I mean, we got a lot of amazing actors that auditioned, but you have to be right for the part. And Michaela and Rick were just incredible. They weren't just incredible as an individual actor, but together they were amazing. And they just got it. They understood what I was going for. And all the actors were great, but we knew that we needed a strong cast to really propel this film, and we couldn't be more happier with the cast that we got.
Yeah, and I think they really pull it off because, for the most part, when I first started talking to you, I thought maybe Rick's character, we know he's a troubled child, and you see that as you make your way through the film.
Mm-hmm.
But you really wonder, is he really troubled as you're working your way? And without saying anything, you figure out that he has major issues.
Yeah, it's subtle, and it's a slow burn. And there's a lot of twists and turns that you don't really know. You might think one thing, but then something else happens, and that's the kind of script that Brian and I both really wanted to work on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we tried to purposely, Chris wrote the script this way, and then we wanted to present it on film in this way where, as you just kind of alluded to, so yeah, there seemed to be possibly issues with him, but what about everything else around him? And is it really him? Is it her? Is it this? Is it that?
Yeah.
And you almost don't know if it's everything or none at all,
Right,
where
right.
all the issues are coming
And
from.
it only kind of comes together at the end,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
I think is great. Well, okay, folks, so you've got to see The Luring, which gets its world premiere on Saturday, September 15th. There's two wonderful shorts that will be preceding it. Suit is by Drake Woodall, and I'll be doing a filmmaker interview with him as well, so keep an eye out looking for that. Then we have Frank Prince's It's a Mess, which is also a really wonderful film. Both of those filmmakers will be at the screening, as well as Chris and Brian, which will be the feature that evening, The Luring. So come and check out this wonderful triple bill on Saturday, September 15th in our state-of-the-art facility, Voorhees Hall, room 105 on the Rutgers University campus in New Brunswick, New Jersey. General admission is $12, $10 for students and seniors, and the program begins promptly at 7 p.m. So come and join us, and thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for coming, gentlemen.
Thanks for having
Thank
us.
you.
Good evening.
Hey, how you doing? We need to rent some shoes.
And what size?
10.5 and
6.5.
You look familiar.
I get that a lot.
What's your name?
Garrett. I live in New York, so I doubt we know each other. We're here on vacation.
I've always wanted to go to New York, but I've never been.
You should go. It's great, but we love it up here. It's just so beautiful and peaceful.
Beautiful and peaceful. Yeah. I guess you could say that.